Hello, welcome to the podcast. In this podcast, yes, we're going to talk about the historic presidential win for President-elect Barack Obama. We're going to do our best to take you behind the scenes, more on the coverage that we provided you. Now, here is a look at the moment that it became clear that Barack Obama would be the 44th president of the United States. This is inside the control room at CNN.
Run it, breaking news. Put it in the wall. Go out to it.
Yep, loud and clear.
CNN can now project that Barack Obama, 47 years old, will become the president-elect of the United States. We project he now has enough electoral votes, more than 270.
Go to the crowd.
To become the 44th
Matt, watch the banner.
This little-known U.S. senator only a few years ago, seemingly coming out of nowhere, delivering the Democratic Convention keynote address back at the convention in 2004, all of a sudden taking off, becoming a United States Senator from Illinois, and now he will be the first African-American president of the United States.
Now, here's something really interesting. In the midst of all of this, there's so much excitement about transitioning to this next group, this next administration. Have you heard of something called the Plum Book? 8,000 jobs, federal jobs that might be up for grabs now. Richard Quest over at CNN International told us all about it.
The Plum Book will be published on about November the 12th. It is a list of the 8,000 or so jobs that will become available in the federal government as a result of a change in the administration. Now, why is it called the Plum Book? Well, you're absolutely right, because they are the plum jobs. Look at this.
What?
It doesn't matter which part of the United States you're in, there could be a plum job for you.
Perfect, because so many of us are out of jobs.
Hey, look at this. For instance, in the state executive director in Minnesota, everyone, all part of the rural affairs department, plum jobs. Every state's got one. State director, Alabama, for the office of undersecretary for rural development, all gone.
And do you have to know somebody to get these jobs?
Yes, you do. The point about the plum job is this gives people a chance. The serious point one has to make is this gives people a chance to apply, to polish their resume and apply for those jobs. This document is the Presidential Transition Guide. This tells you what happens if you're about to lose your job in the administration. For instance, do I apply for unemployment? What happens? Will I be eligible for severance pay? The answer is no.
You mean if you're currently like in the Bush administration?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
There is even in here a sample letter. Your sample pink slip is in here.
So here is an example of the pink slips that Richard found.
All right, imagining you're working for the federal government. Dear Ms. Meade, this is to notify you that your service as Senior Executive Undersecretary for Deputy Secretary for Undersecretaries will be terminated. This action should not be construed in any way as a reflection on you personally or on your performance under the previous administration.
Kind of cushions it nicely, because it is painful. This person's losing their job. It takes the emotion out of it. It's nice.
It's a classic case of you played in the big league. Now be prepared for the result.
But it's a heck of an excuse, isn't it? Why were you fired from your last job?
I was a new president. It's not bad. Is it? Ridiculous, man.
Okay, back in our studio now. This is Greg. He's our lighting director. Makes me look way better than I really do in person.
So nice.
You were watching
I
another.
was doing some surfing this morning. Some channel surfing.
And you saw another network kind of making fun of our hologram.
They did. But at the same time, they're like, if they can afford the toys and they can pull it off, then why not? But
So did you not see the hologram? Well, let me show you what it was. Just the coolest thing during the election coverage at our sister network, CNN, where they couldn't have the reporter in studio. They beamed her in.
Dynamite.
Hi, Wolf.
All right, big round of applause. We did it. There she is, Jessica Yellen. I know you're in Chicago, but we've done something, a hologram. We beamed you in. We beamed you in here into the CNN Election Center.
Okay, so that's behind the scenes of the actual network coverage. Now, let's take you behind the scenes with Ed Henry. We like to call him Election Ed. He's so good about schooling us what it's like to cover these people day in and day out. So here you have Election Day. What was it like being with John McCain?
Hey Robin, get a load of this. I'm taking you behind the velvet ropes, VIP access in Phoenix, Election Day with John McCain. So Election Day started for me here in Phoenix at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. That's 3 a.m. local time with live shots. But I'm not complaining because there have been workers literally working through the night, hammering away, trying to get this stage ready for John McCain. On election night, this is where everyone will see him either declare victory or concede defeat. And the Arizona Biltmore here, historic property, special significance for John McCain. First of all, he got married to Cindy here. Second of all, fun fact, did you know that Irving Berlin wrote White Christmas here, poolside at the Arizona Biltmore? I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the one. This is the morning after in Phoenix. You've seen the pictures of jubilation in Chicago, the euphoria for the Obama camp, the McCain camp, much different. Before John McCain came out to the stage on election night, there was sort of this eerie silence out here. The Republican supporters were taking it all in. What was fascinating is that they seemed stunned. They knew it was going to be a close race. They knew John McCain might lose, but they seemed genuinely stunned that it was a landslide. And everyone got to see John McCain come out here and be a gentleman, try to keep his head held high, offer an olive branch. But what you don't get to see is sort of the behind the scenes stuff. And I came out here well after the speech, about 2 a.m. local time in Phoenix. And you don't get to see back home the young staffers who poured their hearts into the race for John McCain, worked for months. You get to know these people as a reporter. One woman was in the lobby, there were others in the bar. There's one woman in the lobby, as it was 2 a.m., was bawling, just crying her eyes out. There was another guy, a young staffer, who his eyes were just totally red, and he came up to shake my hand, said, "It was nice working with you," and I said, "I'm really sorry." And he said, "Look, it's all right. This is what happens. You just have to deal with it." And it was amazing how stoic these young people were. And John McCain really tried to be a gentleman and was talking about what a historic moment this was, even in his own disappointment. I mean, this is a person who went through a POW camp. He has obviously dealt with much worse, and you could see that he was really trying to bring the nation together. And as I get ready to head to Chicago for the presidential transition, I'm thinking about the challenge ahead for Barack Obama in trying to heal the nation. 2 wars, the financial crisis, this bitter and sometimes divisive presidential campaign. It's just fascinating to have this front row seat on history.
Okay, we're back in the studio now. Today on the show, we asked our viewers, what do you want to see President-elect Obama tackle first? And we got a huge response. Deb from Wisconsin says, I urge him to quickly address health care. My 6-year-old son was born with a very serious and complex heart defect. He's had 4 open heart surgeries and is doing very well, but his future is unsure. Jerry from Massachusetts emails, he should work to unify the country and heal the rift that has divided this country over the past 8 years. As a recovering addict, I know that broken relationships with others are at the root of my problems.
I want him to bring some stability into the economy. Those of us who are going to retire in 10 years or so, it's important to us that, we see that upward movement in our 401ks, now 201ks.
Thanks so much to our viewers. You're so good about sharing your opinions. Appreciate that. Now that's going to be it for this podcast. We stuck to strictly the election, such big stuff going on, and we will see you in the morning, okay? Sound good? Yeah, after we all talked about that.